A very good day to our Management of Business Records IMR652 lecturer, TSW Ismail, and my fellow classmates. Today, my group will present our e-magazine entitled One World Magazine. Now, before we dive into the presentation, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Audrey Changak, and I'm from BA 232 5D. There are 5 topics covered in this magazine. These topics were covered in the chapters of the IMR652 subject. Introduction to Records Management is the first topic, followed by Chapter 2, Records as a Strategic Business, Chapter 3 on Records Management Process, Chapter 4 on Business Continuity Plans, and Chapter 5, the last chapter, is on Effective Customer Service. Now, without further ado, I will now explain the first topic that we covered in our magazine. The first topic covered in this magazine is Introduction to Records Management. In this topic, there are a few subtopics that are covered. We begin with the overview of records management, whereby the definition of records management is actually taken from Records Management 10th edition book. Records management is the systematic control of the creation, distribution, use, maintenance, and disposal of records. It serves as a memory of an organization or an individual. Now, there are a few records in records management. The records are administrative records, financial records, legal records, personnel records, operational records, historical records, and electronic records. In records management, there are 4 management processes that are very vital to every organization. Now, these processes are planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Now, these 4 management processes work together to help managers to achieve the goals and objectives of the organization. Planning helps managers to make informed decisions, organizing helps managers to allocate resources effectively, leading helps managers to motivate and guide employees, and last but not least, controlling helps the managers to monitor and improve performance. Next is financial management. Financial management is essential for records management programs to be successful, as it provides information and resources needed to make informed decisions, allocate resources effectively, demonstrate the value and impact of records management programs to the organization. The last topic covered in the chapter 1 of the magazine is personnel. Records managers, records coordinators, records specialists, and business users are the personnel in records management. Now, these personnel work together to ensure effective management of records throughout their life cycle, from creation to disposal, and to support the goals and objectives of the organization. I will now pass the floor to the next presenter to explain the second chapter covered in this magazine, which is Chapter 2, Records as a Strategic Business.
Hello, I'm Mellanie, and now I'm going to present about the second chapter entitled Records as a Strategic Business Resources. Now, what are strategic resources? Strategic resources are resources that are important to the achievement of a business organization. It is also to provide an understanding of the past, present, and future, to bring intelligence and information to bear on decision-making and operations, and also to drive policy formulation and implementation. Now I'm going to talk about the regulatory requirements. It is used to help organizations in adhering to the information retention regulations and procedures of the country in which they operate. Talking about this, I will explain about the parts of ISO 15489. First, it applies to the management of records in all formats or media made or received by any public or private entity in the course of its business operations, and to any individual with a duty to generate and keep records. And also, this ISO provides assistance on recognizing organizations' commitments for records and records policies, methods, systems, and processes. Lastly, it provides records management assistance in supporting of a process quality framework that complies with ISO 9001 and ISO 14001. That's all from me. I'll pass the next slide to Miss Tiffany. Thank you. Now I'm going to talk about the regulatory requirements. It is used to help organizations in adhering to the information retention regulations and procedures of the country in which they operate. Talking about this, I will explain about the parts of ISO 15489. First, it applies to the management of records in all formats or media made or received by any public or private entity in the course of its business operations, and to any individual with a duty to generate and keep records. And also, this ISO provides assistance on recognizing organizations' commitments for records and records policies, methods, systems, and processes. Lastly, it provides records management assistance in supporting of a process quality framework that complies with ISO 9001 and ISO 14001. That's all from me. I'll pass the next slide to Miss Tiffany. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tiffany and I'm going to present on Chapter 3, which is Records Management Process in Business Organizations. As you can see here, there are 5 stages of records life cycle, which include creation, distribution, use, maintenance, and disposition. Records life cycle is important for an organization to ensure that all records are created, managed, and preserved appropriately according to the organization's requirements. It is also to make sure that they are disposed of or archived in line with their retention plan in order to comply with industry standards and regulations. According to ISO 15489 year 2001, there are 8 processes for managing records systematically. The record should be captured first before it can be registered in the system. The decision about which documents should be captured and which are not needed is based on the analysis of the organization business and accountability. After the registration has been made, the records should be classified in the classification system that is related to business functions. Then, access and security classification will take place, which depends on both the nature and sizes of the organizations as well as the content and value of information requiring security. The records will then be identified to ensure the disposition status before transferring them into the storage of the business records. Next is the use of tracking of records. The use of the records may be affecting their access and disposition status. The tracking of records usage within the record system is a security measure for an organization. After going through all the 7 processes, the last process will be implementation of disposition. As a result, improved workflows are encouraged, which strengthen the organization capability to handle workloads quickly and guarantee constituent service. Now, I will pass to the next presenter.
Hello everyone, my name is Syarina binti Ahamad and I will be summarizing chapter 4 that is about business continuity plan. Business continuity plan is needed to be implementing in every organizations in order to continue operating in the event of crisis or service disruption. A firm might be severely damaged by prolonged shutdown. Functioning properly is very important to the organization as well as customer and employees that depend on the company to operate. In order to avoid disasters such as fire, flood, and even cybersecurity attack, the organization needs to know the risk first. Then they can do the plan that including estimating how those risks impact the organization operation, putting safeguard and procedures that minimize the risk, making sure that the procedures are effective, and lastly, making sure that all the procedures is up to date by reviewing it. Next is about disaster recovery plan that is a documented, structured approaches that describe how an organization can quickly resume work after an unplanned incident. This DRP is part of BCP that will help the organizations to resolve data loss and recover system at a minimum level. This DRP can overcome the risks or disasters such as cybercrime and security breaches that day by day becoming more dangerous. In order to create recovery plan, the organization needs to know their recovery strategy first. In order to determine a recovery strategy, the organization needs to consider issues such as budget, insurance coverage, resources, management team's position on risk, technology, data and data storage, and finally suppliers. Recovery strategic approval by management is necessary. The goal of the organization should be consistent with the initiative. That's all from chapter 4. Next is about chapter 5, that is all about effective customer services. Customer services is one-on-one conversation that took place between a buyer and a salesperson that directly from a business to ensure customer satisfaction. Customer services is important because there is a connection between a customer and a businesses that can retain customers and extract some value from them. Next is about factors that influencing the customer services. There are 3 factors that influencing customer services, which are customer understanding, service, and technology. Under the factor of customer understanding, we have choice, where it is good to have variety of options for each products or services. However, too much will result the customer feeling overwhelming and might cause that they do not want to buy anything at all. Next is about preference. The organization needs to know and understand the customer preference just like Zapo did. Lastly, personalization is giving customer individual attention. For the second factor, which is service, under the factor we have convenient, where customer making decisions that are influenced by timely service and simplicity of use. Next is intuitive, where the customer value businesses that can address their difficulty and foresee their want before even become conscious of them. Finally, delivering by gaining a customer trust involving consistently providing their needs and exceeding their expectation. Finally, for the last factor, which is under technology factor, we have accessibility, where customer can access the product and services via their preferred channel. Next is to easy navigate. All type of users should be able to browse the store with ease thanks to the websites or apps easy navigations. And lastly, load page quickly. Customer mostly do not like to wait long for a website to load. If it happens, then there will be a customer loss. For the last part of chapter 5 is about the challenges that the customer services will face. But don't worry, every challenges or issue, there will be a solution for it. For these customer services, there are 6 challenges, which are figuring out what the problem is, not knowing an answer, dealing with angry customers, helping too many customers at once, experiencing crisis, and finally tackling customers' issues 24/7. That's all from chapter 5 and from us. Thank you.
In short, the e-magazine had covered all 5 chapters in the IMR652 subject, from Introduction to Records Management to the last chapter, Effective Customer Service. Now, this e-magazine is a good alternative to traditional magazines because it is cost-efficient, portable, and more sustainable. We hope that this magazine can be used as an example for further assignments or samples in the future. And that is all from our group. Thank you.